So today we're going to be moving our pigs to the next paddock. So that's going to be about 1/3 of an acre. And so what we got to do today is set up new electric on the new paddock, move the water, and then move the pigs. And we got about 1/3 of an acre to move them to. And it's been about 14 days. We've only got the 2 pigs. So we're letting them rest a little longer than we usually move them when we have the 5. So we're gonna bring you guys along and kind of show you what it takes to move our paddock and the work that it takes to get that done. And yeah, we're gonna start with the water because that usually takes a lot of time too. And she's usually not this friendly, but for some reason today she's okay. All right, let's go start with breaking the water barrel down. And I'm sure we'll have some help today. All right, so this is our water barrel. And all we got is just a cinder block keeping it up so the pigs can get to the water and 2 stainless steel nipples. So we got to get this moved so we can get the water filled up. One thing you got to watch out for with these pigs is any straps or anything. You got to keep them up high because they will chew on the straps and they'll snap. I'm gonna have to take this. All right, look out. So, for some reason they're both wanting to drink right now. But the one thing I try to do is get all this stuff out of the paddock. That way they're not destroying it. All right, look out. So we got about 20 gallons left in this thing. So I want to dump it, but not get it on the electric fence. Here we go. Okay. All right, so we'll move this over to the next paddock and let's see where's a good spot that we don't have to drag too much hose. But the reason we try to move them every 10, 7 to 14 days is just, number one, they do a lot of damage. And number two, it brings, it keeps the manure load down because, you know, it just gets gross if you leave them for too long. And that way they don't have, it keeps the manure load down, it keeps the parasites down. Yeah, so that's why we try to keep them moving. Where we're going to put this barrel? I think we'll put it on this tree. Okay, so we'll get the cinder block and then we will start so we got the water moved, cinder block, strap, and like I said, we got to make sure to tie the strap to something that the pigs won't destroy. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time. So now what we got to do is fill it up with water, and then while this is filling up, we'll start running the electric fence. One thing, make sure you fill it up before if you have to run a hose out here or wherever you're at, because the pigs will chew on the hose. So get the water filled before you move the pigs over. I wish we had a spigot out here somewhere, and that's going to be a project for one of these days. Because if you have the ability to run a pipe to where you have a lot less hose, it would be a lot easier. But we don't have that yet, so we're just running lots and lots of hose. So let's get this filled up and then we're on to the electric fence. So we got the hose run to be able to fill the pig barrel. So one thing I wanted to touch on with water is Joel Salatin said, if you can run a pipe, run a pipe. And he's right. So Scotty is going to go back and turn the water on and he's going to show you how much hose it takes to get out to the far paddock. Oh, you. So I wanted also to talk a little bit about our gate. Is that we always use this kind of gate in between the paddocks, because we found that the pigs will touch this gate and understand that it's not energized. So when it is time to move them, you just drop the gate and they're a lot easier to move through into the new paddock. A lot of times people, if you run the line and then drop it, the pigs will be very leery of moving because they know that there was a line there. So they have a lot more hesitancy to cross into the new paddock. But with this, they'll touch it and they'll push on it, and they'll have a lot easier time trying to move. So that's that. Did you get him trying to bite you? These are our posts that we use to keep the electric line where we want it. These are basically just a piece of 3/8 rebar that we cut off, painted the end so we don't lose them, and we have these Tractor Supply insulators. And there was a pretty cheap way to, solve the problem of, instead of buying the actual plastic step-in post, we just made these, and it seems to be a lot cheaper. And I think it's going to last a lot longer. And then from this is our, I think this is Speed Right line, and it's only, I think, 1/8 inch thick, but we've had pretty good luck with this so far. And basically all we got to do is we use the Tractor Supply type on the T-post, and then we use these, I think they're lockjaws, insulators to go around, because every corner of the paddocks we have an actual T-post, so it gives us a nice strong way to turn the corner. But at least with these lockjaws, they're pretty cool because they can turn the corner without really bending the line. And we've had pretty good luck with them, especially on the T-post in the corner of the paddocks, or if you kind of see over there, you could put them on the fence. The nice thing about this property is the guy we bought it from had dogs in here, so we have 4.5 acres of a pig pen with actual perimeter fence, to where if we do have a failure with the line, at least our friends won't run away for good. So we'll get started on I'm gonna start running the line. And that is our starting point, and we just keep going. And then the other thing that we did is at the outer edges of the pig pen, we put these insulators. That way, as it pulls, it keeps the wire from pulling off of the either the step-in post or the other types that we were using. All right, so keep on going. And then what we'd like to do is I like to get to a corner, and then once I make it to the corner, I lock the spool and come back and start setting all the step-in posts. So the paddock, or the pig pen here, this individual paddock doesn't really have It only has, you know, kind of 2 corners. I guess 3 corners, and the outside's kind of radiused. So the cool thing about this is you want to make this corner, boom, and you just lock this down, come around, and then we'll go back and start setting T-posts or step-in post. All right. So what I like to do is around every 6, 7 paces, I like to put a post, and that kind of keeps it off the ground, because you do not want to have the wire touching the ground, because then it will ground out. All right, let's go around 6, 7 paces. All right, so that's about that. All I do is grab the post, put it on there, see in and out, and then send it home. And that's all you gotta do. It doesn't really need to be robust, because the pigs aren't gonna be pushing against it. And you kind of set it around 6, 7 inches is where you want. And then I think around 14 is where this one is. But as the pigs get bigger, we do raise it up. And depending on how the ground is, you may have to put more than 7 paces, or you may have to put less if it's pretty flat. Set another one. Okay. And as you can see over here where we have there's a tree, kind of a mound of dirt. You may have to, you always try to put one so it's, whenever you have a real change in elevation, you can push the wire. The nice thing about these things is you can push it in and out to keep it away from grounded out on trees. Just tighten them up if you need to, and just wash, rinse, and repeat. All right, so we made it to the gate. This is going to be the out gate of this paddock. So once you get them into here, this is going to be the gate that will move them into here. This is how we did this T-post with these insulators. I don't really like this setup, because when you start running the line, you actually really turn it at a pretty sharp angle, and I'm concerned that in time this will damage the wire. So if anybody in the comments knows a better way to do this, let us know, because we wanted a way that we could move the gate out of here and the pigs can just walk through. So we had to come up and move the line out of the line of sight for the pigs. But it's working good for the pigs. I just don't think it's helping the longevity of the actual electric cable. All right, so we've got the bottom line of the paddock run, and we kind of come up and we go around this, tighten it. Okay, so this is the corner post. So we are going to go back, now that all the posts are run, we're going to do the top line. So this is the dreaded tarp. It's one of those things where we like to have it because it keeps the rain off their food, but the pigs are so destructive that if you let any of these strings get too low, they'll They'll pull the tarp down, they'll eat the strings, but we don't have a situation that we have any other way to keep their food dry. So that's up to you guys if you want to do a tarp, if you are running pigs in the wood, but only issue is keeping their food dry and also balancing that with them not destroying everything. So this is the other thing is when you're moving it, Helpy Helperton here will always try to eat the tarp. Hey, why am I all wet all the time? I have no clue. Stop it. So the line is run and we're going to see if they're going to be willing to come through. It's not energized now. So we just take and use these quick clamps and some other clamps just to, I think she's ready to go through. But you've been a big help today. So hopefully she's going to be excited to get into a new place to cruise around, and you're going to be easy. I think the other one, Sniffles, is not going to be quite as easy. Let's see if she'll walk through. Good girl. All right. So that's a success. We got one. So I think the other one is off sleeping somewhere. So let's find her. This one doesn't seem to care about the work that we're doing in her new house. So we'll have to figure out a way to motivate her. You want to go? Yeah? You ready? Come on, let's go. No. Okay, we may have to get some food to motivate her. Want some food? So we got the line run. This is the cable that goes back to the electric fence controller. We're going to heat this up. All you got to do, done. But since we just ran a new line, we need to make sure to hook the new line onto the existing line. So let's walk back there real quick and hook that up. All right, so this is the last paddock they're in. This is the new paddock. So all I like to do is just connect them together and they'll be in there for another couple weeks. They already found their water, which is good. So that's kind of the process that we've been doing to rotate these pigs around to new paddocks every couple weeks, and they seem to be doing pretty good. So we'll see you on the next one.